We have fire. To the coal. Welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill, and today we're going to find us some pine root cordage. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome back. Root cordage is a very convenient way to find cordage if you don't have the resources to reverse wrap some cordage. It's just a lot more convenient way. I've actually used pine root cordage for bow drill cordage, and I have a video on that where I use that very effectively and in achieving primitive fire by friction. So the main thing to remember is you can check underneath fir trees, cedar trees, firs. Many different trees will yield cordage. The root cordage that I used in the bow drill video was mulberry roots. And if you get larger roots, you can actually split those down. You can split them in half and even quarter those. And it's surprisingly strong cordage. I also have a video on how to process the roots and split them down, and I'll include both of those links in the description box below in this video. And but basically what you do is, I have a stick here that I just picked up, and it has an end on it that works pretty good as a hoe. And I already started scratching around here, and I already have one root here. Basically just follow this, and these are feeder roots. They're usually pretty shallow around trees, and usually pretty numerous. The feeder roots will go out from the trunk out to about the edge of the drip line of the foliage. In other words, just look up and look how far the branches go out, the lateral branches from the trunk. And you usually find feeder roots, but start at around the base, just start scratching around, and you'll uncover these. There's always feeder roots around. You want to get, depending on what you're going to use the cordage for, naturally you want to get as much length as you can before you break it off here. Make sure I'm still in frame here. Yeah, those mulberry roots work really well as bow drill cordage. So in a primitive situation, you don't have the time or resources available to manufacture cordage. So it does take a little bit of time to reverse wrap some cordage. There's always the tree root option, and depending on where you're located, there's almost always going to be tree roots available. So this one's starting to dive down pretty deep here, and I'm not going to chase it too far, so I just broke it. And that's surprisingly strong. So here is a piece of root. Now if you want to make it more flexible, just take the back end of your knife or a rock and scrape. Bring this camera around here. Use the 90-degree edge of the knife. And you want to use the cordage as soon as as soon as you can, because what happens is the cordage will dry out, and once the drier it gets, the stiffer it gets, and once it gets completely dry, it's going to be stiff and brittle. You can actually bend it and break it. So if you need the cordage, you can soak these in water. If you do harvest, you can roll them up, take them with you, and when you get to where you need to use it, just soak it in water. It'll reconstitute and become soft again, and then you can use it for whatever purpose that you need it for. So you go through, remove the bark. This will make it a lot more pliable. There's another way you can do this too. You can take a stick, a green stick, split it, and you stick the root in there, squeeze the stick together, and then strip it through. As a matter of fact, I think I'll demonstrate that in this video, just so we have kind of a complete tutorial here. So there's one root. There's a bigger root right here. Let me bring you guys back around here. There we go. I guess it helps if I was in frame. Sometimes they start diving off pretty deep. I wouldn't expend a whole lot of calories chasing it like if we were going to harvest this for bow drill cordage. We already have close to 3 foot here. It's always good to have a little extra for the knotting. The way I did in my video, I tied it to the end of the bow, and I tied a thumb loop at the other end, and that way I could adjust the tension. I'll put a link to that video. It came out actually pretty good. It provides a whole new dimension to primitive fire making when you use 100% natural materials. This works pretty good for a digging stick. Not bad at all. I could chase this more, but I think I'm about as far as I'm going to go with it. Alright, this is actually a nice root here. This is a really good example of what I was talking about, and there's enough here to do for a bow drill cordage. I'm going to find a green stick here, and I'm going to demonstrate how to improvise a tool, a primitive tool, to strip the bark off here. Stick with me. Hey, welcome back. I harvested a small green branch from a cedar, and you want to use green because that allows you to split it, and eliminates the possibility that it's going to break all the way down. It's just a little more flexible to work with. What we're going to do here is split this with this branch here. Just popped a split in it. Put the root inside, and then you can use the thumb to put a little pressure on it, and you just strip it through. See all the bark that just came off? Let's open it up, clean that out. And there, we're already starting to clean that bark layer off. See the bark just lifting right off here. That's what we started with. Here's our nice clean root. So we'll put this back in here, clean out our notch here. The whole trick in bushcrafting is to conserve calories as much as you can. So anything that you can do to do things the easy way is going to conserve your calories. Calories are very important in a survival situation. So now we have our root nice and clean. And this one here, if you needed a root smaller diameter than this, this could always be split. This makes really good primitive cordage that you can use for whatever, lashing something together, poles, primitive shelter, whatever you need to use it for. Bow drill cordage, tying a bundle of wood together, and this stuff is amazingly strong. I couldn't break this. This is impossible for me to break. You'd be absolutely amazed at how strong this is. So just work your way around a few trees and find what you need. And again, try to use this while it's wet and flexible. If you wait, it'll harden up. Now, if you're just out foraging and you run across, so whenever you're on the move, always be on the lookout for natural resources that you can use later. You know, a bushcrafter or survivalist needs to be an opportunist. You may not have that opportunity later to run across what you need. So if you run across it, grab it, put this in your pack or your possibles bag, and like I said, as it dries, it's going to become very stiff and hard, but you can soak this in water, and even warm water would hasten the reconstitution process, but it will reconstitute, become flexible again. You could even split this now. I did a video on how to do that with much larger roots, and it's a little harder to do with smaller roots, but you want to start your split right in the center. And you want to keep an eye as you're splitting. If it starts to veer to one side, simply bend the opposite side further, and it'll realign the split right into the center. Like I said, you may you may need this cordage for a smaller purpose. Maybe you're going to use it for fishing, perhaps. If that's the case, I guess there's no need to link my root splitting video now that I'm demonstrating it. But just take your time. Take your time, keep the split in the middle. If it starts to wander to one side or the other, just put extra pressure on that other side and it'll straighten itself right out. Once this is split, it'll be even more pliable. See, we're starting to veer there and just recentered. It's actually a really great piece of root here. Perfect for the demonstration. Now I am going to put the link the video to the bow drill that I did using the tree roots as a cordage. And I tried it with a whole piece of root, non-split, and the root wore down fast. So then I had another piece of root and I split it, and I used a very light wrap. I tied them together on one end to the end of the bow, lightly twisted them together, tied my thumb loop on the end, and I was amazed at how long that cordage lasts. See, now we're off here. See how it went to one side, so we just put pressure on this side and bring that split right back into the middle. You just the trick is just take your time, don't rush it. Again, it's veering, so we're going to drag it back over again. There we go. And almost to the end here. If I was in a situation where I was going to make fire primitively, I would use this as a bow drill cordage. You can also use this for hand drills. See, now we have two pieces of cordage here, which are pretty long, and each one's very flexible. And there we go. Okay, one last thing I wanted to show you. You can increase the tensile strength of your cordage by twisting it together. And the easiest way to do that, I found a down tree here, this little nub. Tie your cordage on, just using that as a a helping hand. This is how I did my bow drill cordage. we go. You just pull it off. You're ready to go. This is bow drill cordage. It's ready to roll. Just slide that in over the end of the bow, and we can leave this as a thumb loop, and slide this over, knot it onto the end, and you're ready to rock. I guarantee you I can get a coal with this piece of wood here, or a piece of root rather. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did making it for you today. Please like, subscribe, and share. I hope all of you are having an outstanding day or night, depending on where you're located. And I look forward to seeing all of you very soon on the next one. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.